Recording in progress.
Good morning, dear Dharma friends. December the 23rd, 2021. Feel how the day feels longer, doesn't it? On this side of the solstice. So, lovely to see you. I was browsing in the poetry collection, and this popped up. I was in the Mary Oliver section. What do you think of? What poem do you think of if you're familiar with Mary Oliver? What's the one that feeds you the most, or that you think of as quintessential Mary Oliver? I have two, The Journey and this one. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair. Yours. And I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things, over and over and over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. You do not have to be good. That's enough to make a whole poem right there. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair. Yours. And I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Wow. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. Over and over and over announcing your place in the family of things. Over and over announcing your place in the family of things. The music at the beginning was Black as Night from Neko and Music for the People, Canadian group. Canadian fellow, I'm not sure there's a group. Let us be awake. There were a lot of geese when I grew up. Montreal on the St. Lawrence River was one of the major pathways. Huge flocks of geese would come through. It's one of the sweetest memories of my father, how he would run outside and say, "Honkers, honkers." My grandchildren do that now. We are part of something so magnificent. Life. And we have a particular role, a particular capacity, which is to become awake. Awake beyond awake. The world learning how to know itself. We follow an ancient tradition. Just realize the similarity. The geese follow highways in the sky. Magnetic fields, a slant of the sun. The way their great grandparents traveled. And so we too, in the lineage of Sangha, of community, 150 generations. We're not nearly as old as the geese. But we've had this flyway, this path. And the geese form a V in order to reduce wind drag on everyone except the leader. And we band together. We band together and remind ourselves of the refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. A refuge in being awake, in being mindful, in being loving and kind and compassionate. A refuge in the map, in the wisdom that's been passed down to us over millennia. And in the community that gathers together. And so we know what to do, to sit down, to adjust the posture to be comfortably upright, to put aside all distractions, to take mindfulness of breathing as a practice. To notice when the mind wanders off and to come back again and again to be right here. I aspire to love and accept myself exactly as I am. And this is the great myself. myself as the world, as life itself. Myself in its wholeness, its pleasure and pain and gain and loss, its seasons, and letting the breath become intimately real. Not a distant fantasy, but an actual flesh and blood, breathing in and out. Life occurs now. In-breathing occurs now. Out-breathing occurs now. The mind wanders now. Each breath appears magically out of nowhere. It's the same for each thought. as we can attend to details like the beginning and end of a breath. We can also open the focus. What's the general quality of the mind right now? Is it a mind that is calm and tranquil? Or is it a mind that's kind of restless? Is it clear or blurry? Is it a mind that seems filled with kindness and love, or is it a mind that's somewhat grumpy, somewhat contracted? Is it a mind that's filled with faith, or is there doubt? Is it a mind that is richly endowed with patience, where the present moment is fully enough? Or is it impatient? Does it want something? We are cultivating the garden of the heart. Again and again, I aspire to love and accept myself and the world exactly as we are. Whenever I'm hurting, physical pain, emotional pain, the existential pain of being, dukkha, I intend to hold myself in sweet compassion. And remarkably, it's something we can learn. There's actually very strong research now that meditators grow in compassion. Humans have known this for thousands of years, but now we can use Western scientific technologies and do testing and discover, yes, it's true. We become more loving and compassionate with ourselves and others. We cultivate awaken to a quality of stillness, a deep expanse of being present and loving. And please let us now open the inner eye of memory and imagination. And I invite you to remember sometime relatively early in your life where something beautiful happened, where someone was kind to you. If nothing pops to mind, there's something we share, which is that someone was there at our birth, no matter what happened later. Someone was there to take care of us. Totally vulnerable. And we can imagine holding that baby ourselves. Really early, still covered in vernix, still just barely breathing. Imagine holding that baby of yourself. What would you say to that part of yourself? I'm so glad you were born. You're a miracle beyond my greatest dreams. I'll always take care of you. Your fingers and toes are so beautiful. So tiny. It's okay to cry. You need to cry. Exercise those lungs. What is it that you've always longed to hear? I'm so glad you're you. What are the words you long to hear? Be bold. You live in a vast universe with unknown resources. The mind can wander. Doesn't matter. We have this direction of refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. The direction of love. And please let us become aware of the body here and now. Let's notice how there's pressure of the thighs and buttocks against the chair. Notice this breathing in and breathing out. Let us embrace and be fully alive in the hands, the fingers. In the throat, in the face, in the cheeks, the lips. And maybe let a very tiny, maybe imperceptible from the outside, smile come to the corner of the lips. Let's notice the eyes. They're alive. And notice that we can roll them around inside their beautifully lubricated orbits. We can roll them in a clockwise direction and a counterclockwise direction. And we can let them be soft, relaxed. And then notice the intention that is required to open them until the moment comes when we operationalize that intention. And then notice the effort it takes to lift the eyelids. They don't spring up on their own. It takes intention. And then there's, to some degree or another, seeing. And then we can look from one person to another. Knowing what you know about birth and life and gain and loss and sickness and health. What would be your wish for this person you're looking at right now? May all beings everywhere share in the merits of our practice. The glass arrived yesterday. The ramp is 99% finished. There's one piece missing where the ramp meets the ground. It's made out of aluminum. There is a temporary wood thing now. A person in a wheelchair could, as of yesterday, roll up the ramp and into the Dharma hall. These two men, the fellow in yellow is the father, and the young man, he's probably 22, the young man is his son, 22 maybe. And the father learned to do this work from his grandfather. They're lovely men. They take such delight in their work. And the father looked at the deck, and he was waxing poetic. He said, "You don't see this kind of work anymore. Nobody takes the time." And so I had them explain to me what they saw, and then our superintendent, Pete, came along, and we talked construction and wood, and they both agreed they haven't seen anything like this in 20 years. So somehow or another, our team has built something of incredible beauty. Not just functionality, but it's pretty to look at. It's a blossoming of the Dharma. It looks as though move-in day will be the 17th of January. That'll be for the tenants. And we'll be moving in. We'll be doing some events there starting soon thereafter, COVID willing. It's just a couple of details that are slow to resolve. We need to have some brackets for the front porch railings. They have to be manufactured, and the place that's going to manufacture them is closed till January 1st. And we can't get our use permit until all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted. But it'll be soon enough. I had something. Oh, here it is. Yay. Let me go back to this. You will notice in the chat, if you look, please look, that there's information about Kendall Summers. She teaches in a variety of different places and times. And I encourage you to look there. And then here is her upcoming her Women's Restorative Rejuvenation Circle with Kendall Summers. 4 Fridays, registration is open. This is on the website, PIMC website. Women's Restoration and Rejuvenation offers a monthly group to self-identified women and those non-binary, a place to come together in community to share our wisdom and strength, strengthen our shared sense of belonging in the world. So it's over... 4 months, and an opportunity to support and be supported and explore inwardly. We are how can I most efficiently say this? It's traditional in nonprofits to have an end-of-year fundraising. We've come to the community a lot this year. And one way to look at that is that there have been opportunity after opportunity to practice generosity and to have the blessed experience of relinquishment and sharing and belonging. So as we come to the end of the year, we have this budget balancing, fundraising practice. So as you are moved, please visit the website and become a monthly donor. And see if there's something you'd like to do in that regard that will make you feel as delighted as a small child feeding a hungry duck. Also on the website, you will see, can I find it? Oh, I'm not going to try. We're going to need a lot of volunteers for cleaning and putting stuff back together. And so there's a way to get on our new volunteer coordination list. It's at the top left, I think, right at the top of the PIMC webpage. The PIMC webpage is portlandinsight.org. And if there isn't something there already, there will be a New Year's Eve gathering from 9 to 12:15. And that's enough announcements. There's a large low coming in off the coast, and and there's an atmospheric river, and etc. That's the weather for today. Oh dear, losing it. So, my friends, we're in this time, this holiday Christmas time, and it's really hard for a lot of people. Some of us get to have a pretty good time, but families are to the degree that a family has insanity, it usually emerges now. And you're supposed to be happy. If you're not happy, there's something wrong with you. Oh dear. Oh, and you're also supposed to get exactly the right gift and more than you can afford. You're supposed to really, in fact, you're supposed to be responsible for making someone else happy through material objects. It's really insane. Oh, Jim's putting the link for volunteering into the chat. Thanks, Jim. So, songs of joy, songs of loss.
Good morning. It's Kat.
Hello, Kat.
Hello. I had a very unique meditation experience this morning because just when we were starting to sit, my cat walked in carrying a dead bird and dropped it right at my feet. And that was a really interesting meditation object, to have a dead bird at my feet and first have that like overwhelm of holy crap, there's a dead bird right at my feet, and then actually, now I feel weird saying it, feel really creepy saying it, sat with it for a while right at my feet, and just was with this dead bird, this dead little sparrow for a while, and it made me think of Denise and how you are always, like you're always there with death, and I am like in this Portland bubble, and death is still so philosophical to me. Like death is still something that is, except for like death of relatives, which happens thankfully infrequently, it is very rare for me to be face to face with death. And so to just sit there with this bird, and also with a cat who was like so proud of herself. Like this cat was like wanting so much praise and like coming up and petting me, basically, or wanting to get pets. And it was just such an interesting moment to be in, to see this like little dichotomy in nature happening right in my living room. And so, yeah, I feel really grateful today for the practice, and really grateful for getting to be ever so slightly more awake to death and decay, and that it's inescapable even at 7:15 in the morning on a Thursday. Thanks.
Thanks, Kat.
And also, if anyone knows if you have to do anything special to dispose of a dead bird, please message me in the chat, because I haven't dealt with that one before. So thanks.
I'm pretty sure you don't have to embalm them.
I was more thinking like, is just the trash okay, or is that like not okay because of? Anyway, thank you, Denise. Denise told me we're all good. We're all good. Thank you so much.
Good. That was a really fortuitous moment. I mean, there's the great lesson in a way. And back 20 years ago, I guess 18 years ago, my then partner Nancy, who was co-founder of PIMC with me, it wouldn't exist without her. She and we, with me in support, we raised puppies. We raised miniature huskies. And we had a lot of litters. I bet we had 10 litters during the time we were together. They were always small, 2, maximum 3 puppies, little tiny things. And sometimes one didn't make it. And one time this was not my most brilliant moment, but I brought it to Sunday meditation, a little tiny dead puppy. And I put it in a basket. We have in the middle of the room, we were sitting in a circle. In the middle of the room, there is a candle with it's a Mexican thing with people with their arms around each other and the candle. And I put it in the middle of the room in something, so you couldn't see it unless you wanted to. So you could go up and experience this little corpse. And there was a woman, there was a fellow that I had seen actually as a client for several years, and he had brought his partner. It was the first time they were there, and somewhere in the middle of the meditation, she exploded in rage and terror, and they blew out of the Dharma hall. It was more than they could take. Interesting. Set off something for her. So being careful about such things is important, but also for myself, any opportunity I get to sit with death, I always seize it. Particularly human bodies. I have a picture. Actually, it's etched in my mind. My friend Ron Nato of the Nato family here in Portland, and he and his sister-in-law, I guess, gave PIMC $500,000 to allow this project to happen. But we were very close. So we met weekly almost for a year, and then I I arrived back at the house about half an hour after he passed away. And then I got to be with his body for quite some time. And I have an image on my phone. But more importantly, I have an image in my mind of what he became in 20 minutes. And so different from a living person. And that's a very, it for me is an incredibly comforting image. The same was true with David Morrison, one of our community members. About a year ago, I was with David when he died. Not at the moment, but soon thereafter. And the transition from being an unconscious person breathing to being not present. I mean, what the hell is going on here? It's very strengthening and sobering for me. So I encourage you, when you have the chance, all things are permanent.
This is Judy.
Hello, Judy. Where are you on my screen? Wave. Oh, there you are.
Hi.
Hi.
I was sitting with my father last week as he died and after. He was 100 years old. He'd been living with me for 3.5 years. He was very much alive until he took a bad fall, broke some ribs, and pretty much decided it was a good time to go. And 2 weeks later, he was gone. And I cared for him during that 2 weeks in our home with hospice. And I'll be processing that experience for a long time. But mostly so far, I felt a lot of relief for him because he was really ready to go, and for myself and my husband because the focus of our lives these last years has been trying to make his last years comfortable and safe, and we did that. And now there's a sense of freedom. And I just wanted to share that all with you because you are my friends. Thank you all.
Thank you, Judy. What a gift you bring us.
Good morning, Robert. This is Vic.
Hi, Vic.
Hi there. So, after 2 years of being in self-quarantining, my parents have decided to visit my brother and myself from India. And they just landed in San Francisco on Monday. And they're planning on spending 6 months here. They're going to spend
Whoa.
2 months with my brother. That's a long time.
That's a long time, yeah.
Yeah. They're going to spend 2 months in San Francisco with my brother, 2 months here in Portland, and another 2 months back in San Francisco. And one of the things that I've been trying to figure out is is there an opportunity for us to, I mean, obviously there's all this family dynamics, and it's a long time, and it's also kind of an explosive atmosphere with a lot of reactivity, going back to childhood behaviors. I've been considering doing a shared activity with them, which might be about twice a week. We would read aloud from the 5 invitations. I don't know if they'll do it. I don't know if they're open to it. But I wanted to carve out some time twice a week and say, let's just sit for a little bit, not talk about Buddhism or religion, just sit and then read. And then maybe talk about it, maybe not. I was wondering if you had any suggestions about doing something like that.
I guess. Be prepared for them to say no. And I mean, unless they are people they're unusual people who are interested in reflecting upon death and the way that it enlivens daily life. It would be a remarkable thing to do, but I would say hold very, very lightly with the hope for that. Are they going to stay with you?
Yeah, they're going to stay with me for 2 months. They're going to stay with my brother for 4 months. He's got the kids, and so they want to spend a little bit more time with the grandkids.
Right. How prepared is Anne Marie for this?
Terrified.
Whew. Yeah. This is beyond my pay grade. I'll be open to a telephone call when you need it.
I might need that. Thank you.
Sure. Well, yeah. I don't know if I it's interesting. Let me just, I think it's a noble thing to attempt, and I think it may be really hard. And I'll be very curious to see how it goes. And I think it's a really interesting idea to read from that wonderful book. May they stay healthy. May they arrive healthy.
Yeah, I'm there in San Francisco right now in a hotel, quarantining before they go to my brother's house. So
Oh, good.
they're here already.
Yeah. You know, you see the effect of conditioning here. When you mention your parents coming to spend 2 months, I, of course, project into it unconsciously my parents coming to stay for 2 months, and that was unthinkable.
But I hear it. But it was true. But
from my parents, when I got married way back when, my father didn't come. And I didn't really push it. My mother didn't want him to come because his drinking was so bad that it would be that she'd have to focus on that all the time. And so that's the image I bring to it. But your parents, they're your parents, and it could be quite different. I hope it is.
Hey, Robert.
It's Hadley.
This is Had. I just want to acknowledge my friend and student of meditation, Dave Nichols, was in the sit at the beginning. I don't know what he sits with me on Mondays, and he very much wanted to sit with our daily group, but he struggles to make the time, and he's in physical therapy. But I just want to acknowledge he was here at the beginning, and just want to speak that and wish him well for his life. He's a young man who was a student, and he was a champion rock climber, and he actually fell in rock climbing, and that's where he got his head injury, and he's now working with us at Cerebellum Bakery and doing much better. And he loves this practice, and I just want to acknowledge that and wish well for him in finding the benefits of this practice.
Thanks, Had.
So I acknowledge he showed up here today.
Mm-hmm. Denise, your elf hat is just perfect.
It jingles too, so.
Oh, you have little bells on it?
Bells ringing.
I can't. Shake your head. Let me see if I can. Oh, I heard it. Cool.
Anyway, yeah, it's hard not to smile when you're wearing this.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should have all members of Congress and also representatives at the UN wear elf hats. Actually, I have had a notion, as long as I can remember, that in every important meeting, like the UN or Congress, The members should all hold a baby. And remember that their decisions are for this baby's great-grandchildren.
Robert, it's Tamara. May I chime in a moment?
Yes, of course, Tamara.
I just wanted to say to Judy, your father was really blessed to have you. So
Oh,
it was
yeah.
really neat to hear how you took care of him and was there for him. That matters in the United States. It doesn't happen nearly as often as it should. So I just wanted to just send love to you for that. It was a really beautiful thing that you talked about. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my friends, shall we punctuate? Anybody else have something you'd like to share? Any other gifts for us? Let's close with the Yashakur practice from the Sufis. How exquisitely the One, how exquisitely God, how exquisitely the mysterious universe is manifesting to me in this moment as you. And it has a hand motion, which is the hands come to the heart, and we imagine filling the heart with all of our good energies and wishes. And Ya Shakur, it's one of the 101 beautiful names of God that in Islam. How exquisitely the One is manifesting to me in this moment as you. And then if you'll unmute, and we can, and then pick someone, and really pay attention. If we were doing this in the Dharma hall, we would meet and be face to face. So here we can't be quite that face to face, but we can approximate it, and we'll do it. Let's do it 9 times, and then one more time. Use it. Let's start with yourself. No, let's come to the self at the end. You ready? Ya Shakur.
Ya Shakur.
Ya Shakur.
Shakur.
Ya Shakur. Ya Shakur. Ya Shakur. Ya Shakur. Ya Shakur. Ya Shakur. 2 more. Ya Shakur. Ya Shakur. And yourself. Ya Shakur. Thank you, dear friends. May you have a wonderful, loving day. And take really good care of ourselves.